Alright, here it is. The moment you've been waiting for. Time to take all your hard work and cut it up. This is the most important part as far as finishing the sculpture is concerned. Why? Because if you don't cut it apart and take out all the insides, you can't fire it. So this is a kind of a difficult part for a lot of people because it does require that you literally cut your piece apart. In the presentation you see that if you have an armature that is a single stick and just a ball on top like most of you are using, then you could just slice off the top of the head, right? And that's probably the easiest, and you dig out the insides and pull out the base. This one's going to be a bit more difficult because I actually have a cross bar here for the shoulders. Typically, if you use this type of armature, many times you don't bother firing the piece. It's like maybe doing a prosthetic or molding it or something of that nature. So, in this case, I forgot a wire tool. And a wire tool is usually how you cut sculptures apart. So, I'm going to have to make do, just like a lot of you have to make do, with maybe a fettling knife, or a knife, or just regular string, or a piece of wire if you have it. So I might have to get a little creative, I might get a little messy. Remember, don't fall in love, because you're gonna cut this one up and you're gonna have to put it back together, so a lot of work has to be done to it again. It's part of the deal. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Alright. So the goal now is to get this in a few halves onto some padding I have on a table nearby. Alright, so I want you to have a nice good look at this. When you're cutting something apart, you want to make the fixes as easy as possible. You might be wondering why I'm going right around her face here. It's because I don't want to try to retexture all this. Okay? So this to me is easier to resurface than this. On the other side of the head, bam, this is the easiest area for me as well. And so it will come off like that. Again, if you do not have the cross members or cross braces or whatnot, then I would cut it like a jack-o'-lantern, like a pumpkin. Here we go. I'm using this. Not a wire, nothing's fancy, just a fettling knife. Ah! Yikes. Feel the armature like right there. Alright, at this point, let's start doing a little pulling, throwing. Let's see where this goes. Okay. This is going to be a little easier for you guys because you don't have that cross brace. Oh my god. Oh. Try not to distort it too much. I know I'm going to have to resurface it. Really. Okay. As I start to separate it, wow, I'm gonna look in there, gotta free up a piece of armature right there on the top. That's interesting. Not good, but interesting. Check this out. Ah, crap. Got real thin there. See? Don't fall in love. Don't. How does that go? Oh well, whatever. So as you can see, look how close I am. I am going to have to thicken that inside, but you can kind of see, wow, I cut through the armature. Look at that. What the hell? Jeez. What's the point of having an armature if it doesn't work? Where's the other half? Get up! Save this. That was important. I'm not going to worry about this side because I'm going to dig it out, and since it's sitting nicely, just leave it. All right. I'm going to bend this. Well, no, I'm not. Leave it. All right. So at this point, if it has paper actually helps it kind of separate itself. I like to try to get all the paper out that I can, so that I can actually save most of this clay and reuse it. It is paper clay, and the paper clay of course has paper in it, so technically speaking, if you have paper in the clay, it's not a big deal. Alright. Whew, man. Put her aside. Alright, so now you can see my messy construction. This is the piece that came out, I think. I still don't know where it goes. I'll figure it out. At this point, having a loop tool helps. If you don't have a loop tool, then, I don't know, a fork? At this point, you're just going to want to start digging it out. The point, of course, is to get it to be about a thumb thickness. Again, try to save as much of the clay as you can. Now what you're going to start to find is as you dig into this, if you weren't very careful with your construction, as I never am, you will see big air pockets, but that's the reason why we carve it out. Now it's very tempting to just clear out around the edges, and then you think, oh wow, it's so thin right there, but no, you got all this back there. So we're getting it as light as possible, and you do have to constantly check and gauge your thickness as you go along. As you can see, it's pretty hollowed out. It's kind of a big mess in there. Did bust through it a few times. Honestly, I wasn't really super careful, but maybe that's kind of a good thing because it shows that you can always fix these things. One of the steps I'd like to do at this point is when it's thin enough, and again, don't go too thin, is the forking of it. The purpose of the forking is to basically perforate it, and so that if there are some areas where there are air pockets, like maybe you put some clay on the surface and it might have caught air, this is just a little extra insurance. It doesn't really interfere with the structure of the piece, but obviously once you get it put together, you can't really get in there too easily. If you just take the top off, it's a little easier. Be kind of nice, especially around the hair where I know I just kind of smear the clay on. This is important. If you go through to the exterior, don't worry about it. You can fix it on the flip side. So here is the chin. The chin is typically the part that people forget to hollow out enough, and then if it's too thick, the chin falls off. We don't want that. So it takes a little extra time, a little extra feeling on both sides. I'm feeling the other side of the face, just so you know, making sure that I'm constantly gauging, going slow. Don't forget to fork the other side. I took a bowl and took some of the shavings, and I did make some nice little slip there because we're going to be needing that for the edges when we put it together.